I'm not real good at forecasting. Obviously, Rios has been picked because his style theoretically suits Manny Pacquiao. But another way to look at the fight is if Manny Pacquiao isn't the fighter he once was, is Rios good enough to exploit that? And to me, that's the equation of the fight, and I'm curious to see what shows up.
Do you think Manny Pacquiao is already riding the sunset post? How he performed in the last two fights?
Look, he's 34 years old. He hasn't knocked out an opponent in 4 years. He hasn't won a fight in 2 years. He hasn't fought a fight in 1 year. So there are legitimate questions and curiosities about what level he is still at and how much of himself at his best he still is, and whether this particular opponent can bring out the best in him or not.
So what's imperative for Manny Pacquiao tomorrow?
Sorry?
What's imperative for him to show?
Well, it's imperative for him to be able to use his advantage in skills and quickness, and to hope that that's enough to keep a hungry young fighter off of him. Because if it isn't, then it could be a tough night.
Can he not be like Juan Manuel Marquez at the age of 39, still fighting at his prime?
In theory, sure. But Juan Manuel Marquez is just a fighter. He doesn't have all the distractions in his life that Manny does, of enormous success, of having another full-time job as a congressman, and everything else in his life. Can Manny dedicate himself like he did as a youngster when he was going after something instead of defending it? That's up to the individual, and we won't know that until not just this fight, but future fights. You know, how much does he really want to do it? He's been extraordinarily successful, and will always be remembered for the great things he did in his prime. But primes come to an end.
But definitely a good fight against Rios could somehow do something.
Well, if it will show that he still wants to get after it. It may not show whether he's still an elite top fighter, but 95% of Manny Pacquiao will be better than most fighters. Does he still have that will to achieve that need to achieve that? Every career is unique, and so we don't know.
Is Manny Pacquiao's newfound motivations a sign that he wants to bring back his own self?
Well, I think every fighter thinks that, but you still have to fight within yourself. I think his characterization of his last fight is accurate, that he was trying to prove something, that fans, media, experts were questioning him, and he wanted to prove to himself as well as them that he could still be the dynamic fighter of his earlier days, and he found out that he overextended himself. Can he still be an elite fighter and just be a fighter and let things come to him and happen? Because he set such a high standard and there are so many expectations of him that are hard to live up to forever. This will be a hint as to how badly he really wants it or not.
So what should Manny Pacquiao get rid of first? If you want to give him an advice.
I have no advice to Manny Pacquiao. It's his decision. He's decided to enter the political arena. That's a tough arena, maybe tougher than a prize fight ring. And I never heard of a top fighter having another full-time job. Being a top fighter is a full-time job and more. So is he trying to do both? Can anyone do 2 full-time jobs? If one of them is trying to be a top fighter? I don't know anybody who's done it.
So you think most politics got in the way of Manny?
Look, he's a very curious kid who's interested in a lot of things and had a lot of opportunities and distractions. And when he was at his peak, he had all kinds of things going on in his life, but he was able to focus on boxing. I don't know that you can keep doing that. And, that's a decision that only he can make.
Spin.